Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Abhinav. I'm a first year medical student in the MD PhD program. And today I want to talk a little bit about how I study in medical school. Some of these tips might apply to you even if you're not in medical school, but this is just how I've been studying and what works best for me. Honestly, I can say that I'm doing pretty okay in med school so far, so whatever I'm doing, it's working for me. But hey, everyone studies differently, so if these tips don't apply to you, it's no big deal because everyone studies a little differently. So, with that being said, please do like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. And let's get right into it. So, you won't believe what just arrived in the mail. I don't like the sight of this. Oh my god. It's finally happening. The USMLE Step 1 First Aid book is here. And that just means that things are about to get rough. So, in the curriculum that I'm doing right now in my medical school, we just finished the fundamental blocks. So, this included like anatomy and biochemistry and immunology and pathogens and treating those pathogens. So, those are all fundamentals. And now we're just getting ready to start the systems blocks. So, the systems blocks are actually diving deep into the organ systems. So, the first one is the brain, neurology, and psychiatry. That's the first systems block. And everything that I've done so far has been working well for the fundamentals block, so I'm going to see how it goes for the systems block. I think it's going to be a little different the way that the content's being portrayed, but the way that I study for the fundamentals block really made sense to me and really highlighted like what I needed to know, how I needed to study, yada yada yada. So with that being said, I don't want to stare at this anymore. Let's get right into how I organize my notes and things. So this is my folder right now. These are all the folders that are organized into systems and fundamentals, and has all the content that I need for medical school. And inside of these folders is all the lectures, all my study guides, any practice exams that the teachers post up, and I'm going to take you right through it. So this is organized into MS1, so medical student 1, M1, whatever, and each folder is a different block. So we just finished block 4, next is block 5. So let me show you into block 5 real quick. So if I go into block 5, these are the 3 folders that I have in every single block. So there's the lectures, practice exams, and study guides, and things might have to add on as time goes on. But if we go into lectures, we haven't had any lectures yet, but these are the lectures that are going to be coming up. And there's going to be an introduction and then some brain-related stuff. So I already have tomorrow's lectures prepped and loaded, ready to go. And what happens during lectures is that while the lectures are going on, I have the PowerPoint, and then once the recording is up for the lectures, I open that recording, put it on 2x speed, and then go through the PowerPoint and write in the notes section of the PowerPoint anything that's extra on top of what's already being said on the slides. And this can really be just like important stuff that's emphasized during lecture. And then what happens next is that usually, if I'm feeling up to it, at the end of the week, especially during the weekends are like study times. I open a study guide. So I don't have anything here yet because it's a new block and nothing's happened yet. But what I would do is open up a Word document, and this would be Exam 1 Study Guide. And then what happens is that in this study guide, I go through every lecture and have its own section in a Word document, just a huge Word document with everything that I need to know. And I could show you real quick something that would look very similar to what's happening. So here's Fundamentals 4. This was the basis of disease and treatment, where we learn about antibiotics and things like that. So we had a lot of lectures. And then in our study guide folder, I have extra tools. These are tools that the teachers post about how to learn about antibiotics and how they relate to the pathogens. But in my study guide right here, I have everything that I have in every lecture. And what came of this, and this has everything that you possibly can know about treatment and stuff like that. And this is like everything. So that's what happened in my study guides. It's basically including every lecture, and I go through every slide, pick out what's important, and put it in that study guide. And that works well for me. There's another way to do this, which is just making Anki cards. Anki cards are basically the same thing. It's just taking the snippets of that study guide and putting it on a card, and then taking out one word or something, and then having a card. My study guide is basically everything all together in an organized way that I see that works well for me. And what happens is I go through the study guide at the end of every exam, and just keep going over and over it and trying to memorize everything. And then what really helps is doing formative questions on top of that. So in block 4, there's these practice exams that were posted. And these are all practice exams that I took that were posted by the professors. And I basically figured out what I knew and what I didn't know. Things that also helped on top of this is Boards and Beyonds, and also this USMLE book right here. And it sucks that I have to keep looking at this, but it is my future. So that's basically how I study. I write down everything into a study guide, and then I keep reviewing it over and over. And this is honestly not how most people study. Most people study using Anki. Most people study using some sort of practice exams that they get online. And then some people just like keep looking at the diagrams. Doing a study guide like this takes a lot of time. That past study guide that I just showed was like 86 pages or something like that. It was a lot of pages and it took a long time to make. So it takes a lot of commitment, but it does help me at the end. And that's basically it for what I do for study guides and how I study. Every block is the same way. Some blocks have more exams than others. For example, this block, this study guide has multiple study guides right here. And I was able to basically do this for every block so far, and I'm hoping that it works out for systems block. But that's about it. So please do let me know if this helped. I like to like do things like this all the time, like give you some insight into like what I'm doing and how I'm doing in med school. Let me know if there's any other study tips that you do. I'd like to hear more about it, because if something doesn't work for me, I might be able to switch to something else. Other than that, that's about it. I hope you have a nice day, and please do like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.